Good morning, YouTubers. I'm out here in the shop. It's Sunday morning. Just a beautiful day up here in northern Arizona. I'm working on a Polaris RMK 700, putting a stator in it. Kind of a long story on this bike. It's had intermittent electrical problems for years, and we just tested it down to a stator, so I ordered one in probably a month ago. It came in and I got it installed, and the bike seemed to run just fine until I went to shut the bike off, and I hit the kill switch and it would not shut off. I hit the key switch and it would not shut off. And the kill circuit is part of the stator, so I actually contacted the supplier, talked with them about the stator, and they said they have had problems with those stators in the past with the kill circuit, and they said offered me a way I could rewire it and make it work, or they offered me a corrected stator. I opted to put the corrected stator in. I just don't like to start cutting and soldering wires on a brand new part that should be right. So after a week or so, they sent out a corrected stator. This company is Racetech. They were very easy to deal with and gave me no problems. And now I have the new stator. And the one thing I noticed when I pulled out their other one was the casting was so tight. It was just so tight that once I actually put the screws in, I was not able to rotate the stator. These slots are how you adjust your timing. And I got that in, and it was just so tight in the housing that it would not move. I had to just pry it out. And so knowing that on this new one, I just took it, and I took a little 400 grit sandpaper and just lightly deburred this edge, cleaned it up, and now this one goes in and adjusts properly. Trick is, once you get this installed and then you hook up a timing light and check your timing, usually you have to pull everything down and loosen your screws and adjust it very slightly forward or backward to get your timing right on the money. The only way to really guesstimate that is there is an index mark on the very top of the stator. And here's the original stator. It has a much bigger index mark on it, and I've referenced that to where it was on the motor, and it was pretty well directly lined up with the mark on the motor case. So trick is, you want to put your new one in as close to that as possible. That's as close as you can get to getting this thing right on the first stab. Another thing I do is on the flywheel. This is a factory Ducati flywheel for this Polaris. Its timing is actually 12 degrees before top dead center, and I have marked that with an orange Sharpie. That way, when I have this flywheel on and I have my timing light hooked up, you're shooting your timing light through that little hole right there and looking for that index mark, and it's hard to distinguish the difference between all the little black marks. That's why I put an orange mark on it. And if you're very, very lucky and you got it close enough on the initial placement of that stator, the timing's right. But normally you'll be just a few degrees ahead or a few degrees behind, just because of casting differences in the actual stator. So you have to pull everything off again, rotate your stator either a little bit forward or a little bit backward to get that timing mark right on the money. It's a several step process. That's why stator work is kind of a booger. One thing I noticed on this motor is when I went to pull the original stator bolts, these are Loctited from the factory, and they use a heavy, thick Loctite. It was all I could do to back these out. This wrench was actually deflecting. It was so tight. And that's, you're asking for a stripped bolt or a broken bolt or problems in the future. So what I do is I clean those threads up as best I can. I'll take a little wire brush and actually clean those threads. And I will take a tap and I actually run it into the hole, and I'd actually chase that Loctite out just to get that to where it's going to go in. I do Loctite them when I go back in with them, but the key is getting that bolt to flow in that hole and not cause you problems in the future. That's a must. But I got high hopes this is going to work out. I knew the moment that first stator I put in did not work was the moment I began to lose money on this job. But all you can do is try to salvage it. I've got a really good, understanding customer who hopes to run this bike, and all you can do is try. Thanks for watching.